Labas, Auri.
Labas.
Tu drąsiau jautiesi už kameros, ar ne?
Tai jo be abejo, žinai, aš vos tik atsirandu anapus ar šiapus kameros, nežinau kaip tai pavadinti. Prarandu kalbėjimo dovaną.
Jo, bet dabar tu jautiesi puikiai vien dėl to, kad esi už kameros.
Jo.
Praeitą trečiadienį, kai čia buvo populizmo vakarienė.
Jo.
Buvo įdomu, nes aš mačiau, tu visą laiką sėdėjai kampe ir nieko nedarei.
Filmavau.
Galime net pažiūrėti, ką filmavai.
Einam.
Ne?
Aha.
Tu pažįsti ką nors iš tų žmonių?
Pažįstu šito nuostabaus šlipsiuko savininką.
Kas čia per vyriškis?
Simonas. Geras piešinio rakursas labai.
Kas buvo ant kaklaraiščio?
Šūvis į žiūrovą.
Kiekvienas, kuris pažiūri tą kaklaraištį, tampa žiūrovu?
Bet video nuostabus dalykas iš tikrųjų tuo, kad kai kas nors yra nereikalinga arba neįdomu, gali prisukti.
Tai gyvenime gali lygiai taip pat.
Ne visada turi visus mygtukus rankoje.
You say you suffer from a gentle schizophrenia. You are multiple personalities. You are a photographer, but also a DJ. You have a magazine, you are a publisher, but you also organize parties. You take photos from party people. You throw a party when you present a magazine. You make magazines with photographs of party people. You throw a party and you are the DJ. You have a DJ collective, so you can walk around at your own party. You talk to people and ask if they want to publish in your magazine. You make CDs, you present them with the party. You make CD-ROMs with photographs of party people. You insert CD-ROMs in your magazine. You want your readers to listen to your music. You want your party people to read your texts. You invite those who write in your magazine to come to your parties. You make installation from photographs. You do interviews with people you meet. You do interviews with people you would like to meet. You tell the people you meet about your magazine. You distribute flyers announcing your parties in the bars where you meet people for an interview. You buy records in flea markets. You distribute flyers announcing parties in the bar where you have a coffee after visiting the flea market. You make videos recording how you destroyed records you bought at the flea market. You liberate your country from its bad music. You show the video in a gallery, and you are a DJ at the vernissage where you invite people who wrote for your magazine and enjoy the party and being photographed. You invite other DJs to DJ with you. You are an MC and someone else is the DJ. You welcome the people who came to the party. You introduce people to one another. You are an artist and you are a mediator. You mix records and you want people to mix. You even mix photographs. You mix photographs of people you want to mix. You talk to the people you photograph. They invite you to their parties where you talk to other people about photography. You are everywhere and you make people wonder where you are. You are at home. You are working on your laptop. You are taking up all your email conversations where you left them. You are updating people on your projects. You're doing projects all the time. You work in different places. You move. You move from one city to another, from one country to another.
Yeah, so we are filming your arrival to Vilnius. It's the first time?
I've been here a few times before, yeah.
How long are you gonna stay?
For a couple of weeks.
Wow.
So, yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah.
The busy social schedule.
I can imagine. We use this car for a couple of programs.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of like in a movie studio.
Yeah.
So, what do you think if we use that end scene from the film where he talks about the need to entertain people as the beginning for the program?
Oh yeah.
I think it's good.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a really good statement.
Yeah.
And it's very true in a way.
Yeah.
And to me, like, it's so interesting, like, to relate, like, to all, like, you know, concerns of contemporary art and this idea of, like, you know, going into life, going into real life.
Yeah.
Which is also, I mean, like, happening in a reality shows, you know, when they say,
Yeah.
like, you know, now we're showing real life.
Yeah. Really nice.
And it's interesting how the media is being used in the film. I mean, like, the element of the media when he finds this newspaper that he killed this guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's
how
how
I get my picture in the paper.
Yeah. And that's how he finds out about himself, like what he did, why he's in the prison, because he killed the guy.
Yeah.
But you find it in the media.
Yeah.
But I really like those conversations in the beginning with, like, those Hollywood producers when they're discussing, like, you know, what should the film look like.
It's like Monty Python.
Yeah.
When I was 13, I supported a family of 7.
Yeah. What were you doing when you were 14?
I'm sorry?
What were you doing when you were 14?
When I was 14, playing football, you know, skipping classes and the usual things.
And how come you became a curator?
Because I was interested in art, but bored at university.
Yeah.
I think so. I couldn't really get my act together to become a good student. So, and then I sort of started hanging out with people who work with art, with artists. So, and I started writing about it. And so it happened that way.
Okay. But when first you started with writing, and then you moved into like practice of curating.
Yes.
Yeah. And what does constitute for you as practice?
Oh, I think there was 2 reasons for moving from writing to curating. One was that when you write, you're on your own most of the time.
Yeah.
Basically, so even if what you're writing is involved in some discussion, then it's a one person's work. So and that's why I really like curating, that you work with people in a different way.
It's about sharing.
It's about sharing. It's about a collective practice.
Yeah.
You know, it's about making collective statements and you know, establishing different kinds of spaces and what you do when you write. So it also, I think, a motivation for me to curate was also that I wanted to feel like what it was like to be reviewed. You know, I was writing a lot of reviews at the time.
Okay.
So I wanted to feel the other side of.
Yeah, you wanted to be on the other side.
Yeah, what's it like to be the object of the critic.
Yeah, and now you're on the both sides, right?
Yeah. So
it's interesting to be on the both sides.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Because I think that, I mean, like, that's what art in a way provides, is this privilege of possibility of being like on several sides at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to be schizophrenic in a productive way.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Because that would be probably impossible, like, you know, to do, like, let's say some business world or accounting or.
Yeah.
And art is still like this.
It mixes a lot of practices. That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's the yeah.
So you're playing this one, right?
It's 12:45.
12:45. Okay. Shall we do
Great of you to come.
Yeah, welcome to Vilnius.
Thank you.
How are you?
It's been too long.
Yeah.
No, I'm great. I'm great. Long flight, but yeah.
Yeah. How was the flight?
Good. 3 stops, but
Wow,
you know,
really?
but yeah.
Where did you come from?
Great to be from Bilbao to
Okay.
Frankfurt, Copenhagen, Vilnius.
All right. I'm sure you'll have a good relax here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Great.
go.
Yeah. Complete revisionism. So.
All right.
What?
Now, shall we do Jonathan?
Should we do the reading there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I brought by coincidence this book by Jonathan Franzen, The Corrections. It's from 2001, I think. So it was just, you know, a book that I picked up from the shelf.
Yeah.
Wanted to read on the trip, and it turns out that a part of it takes place in Lithuania, in Vilnius.
All right.
So, which is really cool. I'm sure everybody who goes here reads it. So it's probably not a very original choice of travel literature.
Well, but you know.
But yeah, but it's funny anyway.
You are bringing this project called Populism, so I mean, like, you know, it's about popular culture.
Yeah.
It's about tourism industry.
It's true.
So I think it's the best tourist guide.
Yeah, it's in keeping with the project. That's right. So anyway, it turns out that one of the main characters, a failed college professor from New York, meets his Lithuanian double
Okay.
So who's exactly like him, like
Yeah.
of physical appearance, but he has a different personal history, obviously.
Yeah.
So he's a Lithuanian diplomat, or a failed Lithuanian diplomat actually,
All right.
to the UN, who's now involved in some kind of petty crime. So
Okay.
the Lithuanian double takes the failed college professor to Vilnius, and they work on some embezzlement scheme together and fraud. And the American guy has a great time here.
Okay.
So. But the interesting thing is that I don't think that the author Jonathan Franzen has ever visited to Vilnius, because he paints a picture of Vilnius that's a bit like Sarajevo during the siege or something like that.
Okay.
So, and it's supposed to take place around the turn of the millennium.
Yeah.
So you have this scenery with corrupt police and Russian mafia on the prowl, and the city of Vilnius has been shelled, so the facades of the buildings are pockmarked with shelling shells and ammunition.
All right.
So it's quite dramatic, but I think probably a bit of a fabrication, I'm sure.
Okay.
So and that also goes for what he's saying about the role of Lithuania in the world. So I'm going to read a passage now where he's talking about Lithuania as a society that has not been globalized, which is obviously a lie.
Yeah.
Cette ignorance est ta bénédiction, et tu es sans valeur comme le premier rang. Va par les jours. Si tu n'étais pas si permis, chaque pas en toi, ta fatalité
Genova. Sangue sul G8. Giovane, anticlub al genovese ucciso in uno scontro con I carabinieri. Saccheggi delle stazioni fu una rossa assediata.
Kokio ten tapytojo buvo tokia moteriškė skaitanti laišką prie lango?
Vermėja.
Taip ir norisi vertikaliai pasukti kadrą.
Čia yra Simon Rys, geriausias Naujosios Zelandijos kuratorius Lietuvoje, skaitantis laišką atsisto Vermėja ant palangės. You were here at the dinner, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what did your tie mean?
Yeah.
Like, people were really attracted and surprised and interested.
Well, I suppose the first thing the tie meant was bad 90s fashion. It was an art project done for the designer Yohji Yamamoto.
Oh yeah?
And back in the day where we undergraduates wanted to look like grown-ups, we all bought these things we couldn't afford. But it had something to do with, when I hear the word culture, I reach for my gun, which is of course a quote from Jean-Luc Godard.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was ripped off of Hermann Goering, the Nazi general. So when I hear the word culture, I reach for my Luger.
All right.
And then played on again by Barbara Kruger in the 80s, and she said, "I hear the word culture, I reach for my checkbook." So this is kind of what the tie was about. Have you seen that film Roger Dodger?
No.
Yeah. The main character says to his 16-year-old nephew, "Alcohol's been the social relaxant for 500 years."
And have you seen this film Sullivan's Travels?
Yeah, Preston Sturges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're using it in this program.
Cool.
As a sort of reference point to speak about Populism show. To speak about the whole idea of going into masses and entertaining people. Because I mean, this film, its basic message is that you have to make people laugh.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that they are left with, right? You don't have to make them suffer anymore. Which I mean, you can criticize it also, from various perspectives, but I think it's quite okay. I mean, I think it's relevant. And Preston Sturges, he wrote those 11 rules for the box office that we're using in this program as a vignettes.
Yeah.
And one of them is saying that chase is better than a chat.
Chase is better than a chat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, interestingly, the great filmmakers of all time, the new wave, the French, they loved the films of Sturges and Nicholas Ray and John Ford. And Godard said, all it takes to make a good movie is a girl and a gun, which is a version of a chase is better than a chat.
Yeah.
And if you have a look at the films of Hitchcock, often there are dramatic scenes where the chatting is taking place in a car.
In a car.
In a car.
Yeah.
With the two characters.
Talking
to each other. Doris Day and Rock Hudson films.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of those conversations are happening in a car. Because you get a sense in which the conversation carries the film from A to B. And you get a new location before and after the conversation starts. I think the other thing is that everybody can have a chat, but not everybody can own a car. So there's something about an added object of desire.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a nice point.
And I think box office movies are all about producing objects of desire.
Exactly. So, how do you think contemporary art participates in this whole production of objects of desire? I mean, whether it does or not.
Well, so much of what we see is after the fact. So in the show, we've got Sarah Morris's Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I mean, the Oscars have already happened. And she can't add to the prestige or the desire more than Vanity Fair can. So I don't know that that's actually caught in the circuit of producing desire.
Artists, they always claim that they try to deconstruct the whole idea or the desire for the design.
Well, Martin Creed has said 1,000,001 times in artist talks, I just want to be loved.
Yeah, right.
So that's putting it plainly.
Yeah.
And there's the famous slogan by conceptualist Billy Apple, the artist has got to eat, which is also putting it plainly.
Yeah.
And you see that in Matthew Loret's Deja Vu project.
Yeah.
If you want to look like a famous person, you usually want to look like a movie star.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Hollywood is the ultimate desire side.
Maybe McClure needs to rewrite his catchphrase. Movie is the medium.
Movies
medium is the message,
The ultimate dream. Absolutely. Tu norėsi kavos? Čia yra. Kas tu toks prisistatyk?
Šiandienas.
Vis tik, kodėl šuo yra geriau negu peizažas?
Važiavau čia ir pagalvojau, kad peizažų yra daugiau parodyta nei šunų. Populiaresnis yra peizažas. Daugiau nutapyta buvo negu šunų.
Manai?
Yeah.
I've got a theory.
What's your
theory? That a dog is better than a landscape because a chase is better than a chat, and the dog can make a chase happen.
That's good. You could be a double of Sherlock Holmes. Actually, I would like to watch with you Matthew Loret's lookalike convent in New York, and just to try to locate people.
Yeah.
Tavo visai kita rolė buvo, tau reikėjo įeiti ir įsiveržti į čionai, kaip įsilaužėlį kokiam. Bet turbūt tavęs... Jo, čia yra priekaištas. Ne, tiesiog tai yra diskomunikacija tam tikra, žinai, mes nespėjom išsiaiškinti, kaip turi vykti. Ir Antanas atėjo nekaltai ir gražiai. Iš tikrųjų, jis tai turėjo ateiti per pokalbį su Simonu. Ačiū, Simonai. Ir suprastė.
Gal tu nori parodyti Antanui, kaip jam reikėjo įeiti?
Jo. Jis turėjo įeiti ir ten kažko paklausti kvailo. Ne, gerai, tu turėjai įeiti ir turėjai pasakyti, kad šuo geriau negu peizažas.
Bet aš tai nemanau.
Nemanai?
Ne.
Nesimatau. Tai sakai, šuo vis tik geriau už peizažą.
Nesakau, čia ne mano namai.
O kieno?
Virgos turbūt.
Nuostabus vasaros rytai sugrįžta, atlyžta su paranoja, vėl per naujo viskas sorry jorė. Dabar mes puolame ieškot naujų garsų ir jeigu nori būt kartu, turėtum būt iš debesų, nes tie, kas pasilieka. Ja, ir užkandžiauja rutina, žinai, kad tau nebūtina jų tavo balkonais grūzina, matyti ir pas atsiveriančias, erdvės įplečiančias, tai viskas, ko šiandieną reik. Aš šoku į pavasarėjančias bangas, jaučiu artėjančias audras, nesitikėk viso signalų, nes man tik to ir reikia, nesibaigiančių skandalų. Galybės vizijų į priekį sudėliotų, nėra tvarkaraščių, nereikia laikrodžių, esmės atimt ateinančių nuo džointo ir negalėdami nesijaučiu skolingas, už saulę vasaros grąžintas šiandien neabejingas.
Ja, het is elke keer weer anders. Je blijft de clitoris niet aanraken of wel aanraken. Het is maar net de hevigheid van je opwinding. En met een man samen vind ik het erg opwindend als hij zelf met zijn lul er een heel klein beetje in is. En dat ik dan nog ruimte heb om met mijn vinger erbij te spelen. En als ik dan klaar kom, dan mag hij er helemaal in en dan mag hij mij hard neuken. En dat vind ik heel prettig.